Welcome back to the final video of Section 6, Adding New Themes. In the last video, we learned how to use the List View widget to display a list of models. In this video, we will look at how we can create alternate themes for our application. We've already discussed that YII implements the Model View controller pattern. Themes are simply alternate views that allow you to change the way your application looks without having to change any of the code in your models or controllers. We'll show you how to create a new theme and then apply it universally. Then, we'll look at one way to apply your new theme to a certain subsection of your user base. Because we are simply creating new views for our application, we need to create a themes directory in our application root. Inside of that directory, we will create a new subdirectory, which is named after our new theme. We're going to make an alternate list view for our female users, so let's call the theme Feminine. There are two ways to set up themes in YII. Using the first method, you would simply copy the entire views directory into your new theme directory and configure the view component to look for all its files in that theme directory. This is useful if you are making major changes to all of your views in a theme. The second way is to only create new files in the themes directory that correspond directly to files in the view directory that you want to override. YII will first look for a view in this new theme directory, and if it finds the file, it will load it. If it doesn't find the view file in the themes directory, it will go back to the original views directory. We're going to take the second approach in this video. Create a monster subdirectory, and then paste views monster_monster.php to that new folder. Let's imagine that we've gotten word that our female monsters prefer to see details about their potential matches before they look at a photo. All we need to do is cut the figure tag and its contents, and paste it underneath the profile details. While we're at it, let's also make a change to the CSS. There are several ways to do this, but because we're only making minor changes, let's create a new file in the CSS directory called feminine.css. We'll add an import statement at the top in order to use the main CSS file as a starting point. Then, we'll add a simple rule to the navbar class and make the background color pink. This is admittedly not the most subtle choice, but it will help illustrate the technical concept nicely. Now, we need to apply our new theme to the site. Open up web.php in the config directory and add another section to the view component configuration. We're going to configure the path map attribute of the view component. The index will be the original path to our application views, which is app views. And we're going to tell it to look for our new views in app themes feminine. When we pull up our monster listing page, we should see that the photos now appear underneath the profile information. However, if we click on one of the profile detail links, we'll see that our original detail view is still intact. But where is our pink navbar? In order to get YII to recognize our new CSS file, we'll have to reconfigure our app asset, which determines what CSS style sheets are loaded. But rather than editing the file directly, which makes the change permanent, let's configure it through the web.php file. We'll add a configuration for the Asset Manager component, and then configure its bundles property. Now, we put in app, assets, app asset, and we set its CSS property equal to our new CSS file. Now head back to the browser, and you'll see that our lovely new pink navbar appears. But there's an obvious problem with what we've done so far. Our feminine theme is appearing for everyone, regardless of their gender. In order to fix that, let's start off by commenting out all of the new code that we just added. Next, we need to find a way to apply this configuration only when a female user is logged in. It turns out that there are many ways to do this in YII, so we'll just pick one. Open up monstercontroller.php and create a beforeAction method with a single parameter named action. This method will be run before each controller action. Before we write any code, we need to make sure the controller's parent beforeAction method returns true, and if it doesn't, return false in order to halt the script. Then, we'll check to see if our application user is logged in, and whether they're a female. If they are, we'll essentially apply the same configuration options to the view and asset manager components that we did in web.php, but this time by setting the object property values manually. Set the theme attribute of the view component equal to a new theme object and pass in your path map configuration from web.php. Then, in order to load our new CSS, you need to access the app asset object by using the Asset Manager's getBundle method. Pass the fully qualified class name in as a parameter. Then, set the CSS attribute of your app asset bundle equal to your new CSS file. At the end of your before action method, make certain to return true so that your controller's actions can continue to execute. Finally, add a use statement for the theme component. Head back to your browser and load the monster list page again. You'll see that the photos are on the top and that the navbar background is white. Log in as Medusa, however, and you'll see that our new theme has been activated. Now you know how to create alternate view files for your application using themes, and how to apply them both universally and dynamically. Prior to this, you learned how to create a search interface for your application using ActiveQuery. You also learned how to improve the UI for your search interface using the Type Ahead widget. Finally, you learned how to use the List View widget to improve the appearance of our monster listing page. At this point, we have a very basic but fully functional dating website for our monsters. In the next and last section of this course, we'll learn about a few of the advanced features of YII, which can help you take your applications to the next level